What's the weirdest thing you've seen happen at your friend's house that they thought was normal? When I was in high school, a friend asked me and two other friends to his house for dinner. His mom served homemade bean soup, which was very good. Towards the end of the main course, she brought out chocolate cake for dessert. She cut each of us a slice and plopped it into our bowls, in which we each still had about an inch of soup. Us guests exchanged puzzled glances, but the family dug right in. So apparently chocolate cake soaked in bean soup was an ordinary thing for them. Yeah, honestly, I don't even like using the same silverware for dessert that I use for dinner. When I was like 10 or 11, a new kid moved into our town and started at our school. I was always super nice to new kids because I moved a bit and changed schools a bit, and knew how hard it was. We made friends and he had me over for a sleepover. He decided to show me a Polaroid picture of his mother doing a dog. I was just like, what the heck, dude, let's play Nintendo. I guess if there's something that's always been kept within your family and you've never bothered to share it with anyone else and nobody's told you not to share it, then I guess I could see how things could be normalized if that's just how you grew up. My childhood best friend lived with his grandparents. His grandfather was a clockmaker. He mostly restored them. Their large two-story house walls were covered in old restored grandfather and cuckoo clocks. Each one had a smaller sticker with the numbers so he could keep track of them all. The highest number I saw was over 700. I would say 25% of them were wound, so every hour you were treated to a symphony of clocks. I didn't appreciate it when I was a kid, but those clocks were fantastic pieces of workmanship. Man, that's gotta be really weird just being in a house surrounded by constant ticking, just 24/7. I feel like that would drive some people insane. This happened when I was like 6. I needed to use the bathroom at a friend's house, and he led me to his parents' bathroom. The place was filled with crap of all sorts. Boxes, magazines, an inflatable pool, lots of other stuff. You could barely get in there. He pulled out a drawer from the installed cabinet by the entryway and said to pee in there. I thought he was joking until he went ahead and peed in there himself. I couldn't argue with that, so I too peed right in there. Then he shut the drawer and we went and played more Ninja Turtles. I have no idea what became of that drawer slash house slash family. Man, I really didn't know what to expect when I started this thread, but we've got some interesting stuff going on. Rich friend's family had rooms not touched in weeks that had vomit on the bedsheets from one of their parties. See, maybe there are some downsides to having a huge house, especially if you've got a cat like mine who just decides to puke in random places, and unless you pass by that spot often, you're not going to know to clean it up. Someone was in the bathroom, so the kid who lived there went into the back garden, took a poop in the flower bed, and shoveled dirt on top of it. The bathroom was free by the time he'd finished. It's not a big deal, my cat does that all the time. Saw my friend spit in her house, straight onto the carpet. I didn't go back. It's just water, it'll just evaporate right out of there. After a few thousand times, maybe you'll start to notice some spots. When I was a kid, the neighbor's TV was always at 75% volume or higher. They'd literally sit in the living room and scream at each other over the TV on blast. Gotta get that full experience. This is honestly how I feel when I go to concerts. I'm like, does it really have to be so loud that I literally just cannot talk to anyone the whole time? One time I was at my friend's house while his dad was working late. His mom brought home 2 Little Caesars pizzas for us, his brother, and his parents. By the time his dad got home from work, there was no pizza. So his dad just made himself a salad for dinner, and no one got screamed at until they cried. I guess the guy just has a cool dad that knew he was going to be out late and didn't need you to save him some. I have the opposite one because I had the weird family. In high school, I had a sleepover, and one friend went into the kitchen in the middle of the night and saw my dad inebriated, in his underwear and stained shirt, on his knees in front of the fridge, drinking mustard out of the bottle. Monday rolls around, and the rumors have spread, and I was like, wait, all your dads don't do that too? By the way, he did in fact have his own separate mustard bottle. You know, I've noticed a lot when I think back to my childhood years that whenever you're little and you learn that something is one way, you kind of just assume that everything is also that one way. Like, you just have a very simplistic view of the world. Like, I remember being like 10 years old and finding out that my friend's dad got arrested and he was going to jail for 7 years. And so from then on, for a long time, I thought that anytime anyone was in handcuffs, they were going to jail for 7 years. That was just what happened. I had a friend in high school whose mother was from Jamaica. His family would colon cleanse together every year. I guess it was customary from his mom's culture. So literally they'd take medicine to make themselves poop their brains out for a day or two every year. Notable mention, they only had 1 bathroom. I wonder if they have to make accommodations for this certain time of year. They just have to call up the plumber, just be like, hey, we're doing it again this weekend, so just be ready. Friend's amputee grandpa demanded to watch everyone in the bathroom when they went. He had a mirror so he could watch you. When I didn't fall for that, they put shampoo in my hair so I had to take a shower. Noped the F out and called my mom. Friend didn't think it was odd. You know, I feel like having community and visiting neighbors is the only way that people have really established what social norms are. Because imagine if every family was just so isolated that they didn't talk to anyone else. Every family would probably get into just wild, crazy habits like this all the time. And it's only because we have other people around us to base our behavior off of that we've kind of figured out what is normal and what's not. A neighbor's dad was an avid fisherman, and he would use these electrode things in the lawn to get worms to come up that he was going to use as bait. He would also eat some of the first ones to come up to check if they tasted right. If not, he would remove the electrodes and try again another day. Well, some people are just very passionate about their hobbies. My friend had 9 siblings. Whenever I was there and we ate, he always told me to protect my food. He literally covered his plate by surrounding it with his arms. His brother kept stealing food from the younger ones, and their parents didn't do anything to stop them. It was just normal. Well, if you're a family with 10 kids, good luck having enough money to actually properly feed every one of them. I guess big families just turn into the literal Hunger Games. Serve ice cream with their hands. So they just get a tub of ice cream and just scoop their hands in and put it in your bowl? Like, how in the world does somebody do that and not think, I wonder if there's a better way of doing this? When I was 9 or 10, I stayed at my friend's house for the first time. So we were sitting at the kitchen table eating noodles, and his mom said something, to which he screamed right back at her, "Get effed, Sharon." She didn't even bat an eyelid, didn't even care. I couldn't help thinking what would happen if I tried that at home. It would have been at least a butt whooping. Wow, so just reference this back to those entitled stories. This is how you make those people. You let your kids get away with anything. Everyone took their shirts off at the dinner table. Yeah. Why is it that I can't help but think that this story takes place in Florida? His mom walking around topless, barking a chore list while we just sat around the coffee table working on homework. She was a single mom working multiple jobs. They were latchkey kids. They didn't even bat an eyelash, but the minute she saw a new face sitting on the rug, boring a hole into the distant wall, she shifted on a dime. Ducked into the mudroom, threw on her bra and work shirt, and brought out a carton of Oreos from a secret stash and was pretty much shocked into silence. I think she was terrified I'd misappropriate to my parents, but all we cared about was cookies. Well, I mean, when you're only around your kids when they're little, and you're just breastfeeding them all the time, I could see that as being something that if kids just saw that every day growing up, that it would just be normal to them. A roughly 4 feet long python roaming free around the room at a gathering with guests. The snack was really chill, but still. Pythons are friendly though, they just like to cuddle up with you. They're not as bad as those bitey cobras. My friend's mom always gave me a box of food when I came over. One day as I left, she just handed me a box of Hot Pockets, as if it was a small trinket. They're probably just like, "We got too much junk food, please take it with you." One of the first times I met my husband's family, I was over at their house, and husband gestured for me to sit down and be comfortable. Their house was really very cluttered. Not quite hoarder cluttered, but close. They had a couple of couches facing each other, and then some other chairs. Not knowing the rules, I sat on one of the couches, which had a lot of stuffed teddy bears on it. Oh my gosh, you would think that I had sat down on live bears. There were probably 20 to 30 small to medium stuffed bears on this couch. Husband's mother and twin brother both visibly reacted, as if I had damaged the bears. Not antique bears either. That was when I was told that the couch was for the bears, and only for the bears, and that no one was allowed to sit on the bears' couch. Just the bears. The bears all had little beaded necklaces with their names on them to tell them apart, because they were all the same brand and style. Man, there's gotta be some kind of mental illness, or at least obsessive compulsive disorder attached to stuff like this. I don't really understand how people get sucked into collecting junk, and then just become so protective and obsessed over it. Went to my friend's house after high school exam. Walked in and his dad and stepdad were playing Sorry, while smoking cigars, and his mom was making out with some random dude on the couch. She gave us $20 and told us to go get a couple large pizzas and come back. I don't know what was weirder, that my friend was like, "It's not even my dad's week with me," all incredulous, or when we got back that his dad and the makeout dude was gone. Table all set for pizzas, and his stepdad and mom acted like it was just a normal Wednesday. Well, now there's a complicated relationship if I've ever heard of one. A toddler drinking a wine cooler. The whole family was messed up, but that stuck out to me for obvious reasons. I was only 18 at a party, drinking underage, and had no idea what to do when I saw that. I made a comment about how little kids probably shouldn't drink alcohol, but the kid's mom got scary defensive about it. I honestly kind of wonder how families like this continue to survive. Went to friend's house as a kid, sitting at the dining table for lunch. House phone rings, everyone falls to the floor around me, including the mom and dad. I'm the only one left sitting there. The dad informs me that I now must answer the phone. "Hello, Johnson's house." I hold the phone to the dad. It's for you." Everyone laughs. I'm so uncomfortable. The next time that phone rang, I was the fastest to the floor, I can tell you that. Such a fun-loving family. Loved going around there. Yeah, games like this I feel like would get old really fast. I went to a friend's house that had dog crap all over the floor. Roaches by the thousands, including dead in the microwave and freezer. And to make matters worse, they had a healthy dose of bedbugs too. His excuse was, he's busy from working all day. This guy was a hairstylist too. Yikes. See, I think when it comes to, like, filth around your house, you just kind of gradually watch it get worse and worse. So when you're actually living in it, it doesn't come as much of a shock to you because it's so gradual. But then, of course, when you visit somebody like that, it will come as a shock. Not making excuses, though. I would hate that. I was maybe 12 and visiting a friend who lived deep in the woods for the first time. They had 2 outdoor dogs, and one got free and ran over and attacked the other. The dog that got bit was quite a bit smaller and was definitely injured. My friend's dad came out with a pistol and shot both dogs. It changed my life forever. I was raised in a house where dogs are family. My friend and his family didn't seem fazed at all. Well, there's one way to end it. I did end up skipping a few stories that ended up getting a little bit too, but maybe now you can feel better about yourself and your own dysfunctional families. But that about does it. I'll talk to you next time.